As an aspiring filmmaker, I keep hearing that research is the key to making any sort of successful documentary or like a biographical film. So I wanted to ask you, like, how much research you did before you shot or wrote a single frame, and what was your process, and how did your position as sort of like a DC insider affect the way that you went about that?
I did a story about Dan in 1997 in a magazine I was doing called While You Were Sleeping. That turned into doing a book called Free Agents with a lot more interviews of DC graffiti writers, turned into a lot of interest in Dan and the whole go-go graffiti era. And from that, we found more people and just kept interviewing Dan to work on a book just about him, interviewing more and more people, and Caleb actually played a huge role in that.
I would say if there's a broad stroke piece of advice on it, it's trust your passions and trust your community. From there will come the interest, and from there will spring much of what you need. I am part of the team that is not from DC. I'm from Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I was kind of brought in because I am two things. One, I'm a nerd who can would do the research, but also two, I was a little bit of maybe the voice of why would anyone outside the Beltway care? And as it turned out, and I walked into this project knowing the school field trip version of DC, and I came out, in sort of beyond words as to the respect I have for the city and the history it has. You know, the digging is the fun, and that's where you have to love that research. You have to love tracking people down and getting stood up for interviews to try and find them. You have to love finding the people, asking for 6 other phone numbers. You have to ask people who they hated and they beefed with, but, would tell a really good other part of the story. You have to find, finding the archival stuff, all the archival footage and images is, a great exercise in calling back Thursday for many Thursdays and going to find it. But it's just that persistence, and it's a lot of fun.